reason I started the unapologetically African movement, and by the way, I'm the father of the unapologetically black movement. I created that. I created Unapologetically African 11 years ago. They took it and turned it into Unapologetically Black because black people in the West still don't want to be African because the white man has made being African such a shameful thing that we would rather be a color than a people. So we'll say unapologetically black. That's not what I said. I didn't say unapologetically black. I said unapologetically African. But self-hating Americans turn unapologetically African into unapologetically black. Now, what are the 4 principles of Pan-Africanism? The 4 main principles of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism, of which garveyism is the highest stage. Number 1, African identity. All of us, whether you are in South Africa, speaking Swazi, or whether you are in Nigeria, speaking Igbo, whether you are in Senegal, speaking Mandinko, whether you have straight hair or nappy hair or light skin or dark skin or chestnut skin, whether you are Muslim or Christian or this or that, whether you're under this flag or that flag, whether you speak in English or Portuguese, we are one family.
Yeah, we do the same
African
problems.
family is first. Right. We do not identify with no tribe first. We do not identify with no fraternity first. We don't identify with no religion first. Right. We are one African people, and nothing is more important to being African. So you're not a Christian who happens to be black. You're a black man who happens to be a Christian. And we believe that we identify on the level of race first. So the Pan-Africanist is the only tribe I belong to, because the Pan-Africanist is the tribe that says all African people from Brazil to Botswana are my brothers and sisters. As long as they think like me and thirst for liberation like me and don't see no differences between me and their countrymen, they see us all the same, then we are a Pan-African family. Which is why when I'm in South Africa, I make it clear from the gate, I'm not here to entertain this Zulu Kosa thing. I'm not here to entertain this Yoruba Igbo thing. I'm not here to entertain this Kikuyu Maasai thing in Kenya. Don't pull me in your tribalisms. Even in America, when I go to the different cities, I don't want to hear about this part of town versus that part of town, this gang versus that gang. When DR.UMAR come to town, we one family. If y'all want to fight over petty differences, you do that after I'm gone. But when I'm here, it is one race, one family, one people, one Africa. That's it. That's principle number 1. Most Pan-Africanists don't even know that they're not Pan-Africanists because they can't put the tribalism down. You know how many so-called Pan-Africanists I've met who are nothing but tribalists? You can't be a tribalist and a Pan-Africanist. They are mutually exclusive. Serve the race or serve your tribe. One or the other. You're either serving African people indiscriminately. You're either serving African people indiscriminately or you serving your tribe. No man can serve 2 masters. So number 1 is identity. Number 2, self-determination. These are in no particular order. Self-determination means what? Whatever is to be done for African people must be done by African people. Whatever is to be done for African people must be done by African people. So if we need to build black families, that means it's a black man and a black woman. It's not a black man and a Chinese woman. It's not a black man and a Mexican woman. It's not a black man and a Jewish woman. It's not a black man and an Anglo-Saxon woman. Self-determination in everything. Black church better have a black Jesus. Black family better have a black man and a black woman. You see?
So if someone
in America,
if someone is married,
most black people are in America, and I'll finish this quickly. In America, most black people politically are either Democrats or Republicans. I don't belong to either one. One of the biggest contradictions of the black power struggle in America, how can you be about black liberation? You belong to a white racist political party, the Democrats, and you also belong to a white racist political party, the Republicans. You cannot get free through your enemy's tactics. You will never get free through your enemy's tactics. You see, if the white man lets you in, he damn sure not gonna let you out. So when we talk about self-determination, that means no white people belongs to our organizations. If you bring me to a meeting and there's white people there and they belong to the organization, that's not an African organization. That's a joke. That's a joke. Okay? Multiculturalism is a trap. Multiculturalism is a scam. Multiculturalism is a game. White power runs on black people by making you feel bad for saying, I'm African people first. Everybody else, the Mexican is Mexican first. The Jew is Jew first. The Chinese is Chinese first. But the African cannot be African first. You know why? Because the Bible doesn't allow you to be. Or the Quran doesn't allow you to be. The Quran says the Arab is your brother. And the Bible says the white man is your brother. And I'm saying that if your religion doesn't allow you to prioritize your people's struggle, then throw your damn religion in the trash. We don't need it. Because any religion that stops an African from being an African is not serving God, it's serving the devil. Self-determination. Every institution must serve the liberation of African people. Every book, every movie, every song, every organization, every event must breathe African liberation or get rid of it. That's what self-determination means. Principle number 3. As Africa goes, so goes all African people in the diaspora. This is a very important point. Because in America, we often wonder why we haven't made more progress since Dr. King's assassination, April 4th of 1968. In Canada and in France, we wonder why we haven't made more progress. In the Caribbean and in Central and South America, we wonder why we haven't made more progress. You know why? We're trying to liberate ourselves without liberating Africa. How can you free the children if you haven't freed the mother? It doesn't make any sense. As long as Africa doesn't get respect, no African anywhere in the world will not get respect. I don't care how white your girlfriend is. I don't care how many degrees you got. I don't care how many businesses you think you own. I don't care how many white neighborhoods you live in. Until Africa is free, none of us will be. Until Africa is free, none of us will be. So it is not about looking out for your own regional struggle. Your regional struggle must have an African program. Because if that regional struggle has no African program, that regional struggle will fail. Do you know why America signed the anti-Asian hate bill? Black people been getting killed for 400 years. We ain't got no anti-black hate bill. We ain't got no anti-African hate bill. We still don't have a lynch bill yet. 400 years, 200 attempts. The U.S. Congress still has not given black people a federal anti-lynching bill.
That's just
Lynching
a disgrace.
A black person is still not a federal crime. They haven't even passed the George Floyd
it's embarrassing.
Policing Reform Act. You know, but the Asians got one. On the first try, the Asians didn't build America. Black people built America. But you know why the Asians got a bill? Because the Asians have countries that speak up for them.
Their motherland.
The Asians are part of a political body. They have China. They have Japan. They have Korea. They have countries that will not stand by and let America treat them the way they treat Negroes.
Facts.
You know why there was no justice for Trayvon? You know why there was no justice for Eric Garner and Sandra Bland and Tamir Rice? You know why? The reason there was no justice for police victims who are African is because Africans in America haven't built a political relationship with the African governments who will speak up on our behalf when we are mistreated. But in order for them to do that, we got to make sure they are in a powerful position where America and France and Britain and Germany and Belgium cannot sabotage them for defending us. The point that I'm making is real simple, which takes me to the next principle of Pan-Africanism. We all rise together, but we don't rise at all. As long as Africa wants to rise without the diaspora, she won't. As long as the diaspora wants to rise without Africa, she won't. As long as Black America wants to rise without Africa, she won't. As long as the Caribbean wants to rise without Africa, she won't. And not only do we have to confront white supremacy, we now have to confront the red threat, the Chinese dragon. Because now the Chinese are trying to replace the white man as their leading colonizer on earth. And unfortunately, we have so many unprincipled African heads of state, Caribbean heads of state, Central and South American heads of state that they're selling out Africa to the Chinese on a silver plate. So you got to get rid of white supremacy and Chinese supremacy. And I'm going to tell you right now, if we got to fight the Chinese to get out of Africa, that war is going to be 50 times harder than the war against the white man. You know why? Because the white man is a numerical minority globally. The Chinese is only exceeded by the African population. So the Chinese have enough bodies to throw at us. So if we got to go to war against the Chinese to get them out of Africa, that's going to be one hell of a war. It's going to be worse than any war with the white man. You know why we keep on repeating history? Because those who don't understand it are bound to repeat it.
Facts.
So what do you say to somebody who is in line with what you're saying, but they're married to someone outside of our race? So they're married to a white man or, you know, an Asian woman.
There's no way in hell you are serious about African liberation. I got the emails on my phone, sister. Black men emailing me with their white girlfriends and their Chinese wives and their East Indian fiancés. Dr.UMAR, I'm a Pan-Africanist too. No, you're not, Negro. You're an actor. You think you're a Pan-Africanist. You know why? Commitment to the race begins with your commitment to a black woman. That's the beginning. That's the foundation. So let me get this right. You want to liberate a whole continent. You want to liberate a whole race. But you want to build your family with an alien. Help me understand that. That is a contradiction. If you're in love with white folks, then be in love with white folks. But don't you dare come before me and tell me you're a revolutionary. Because a revolutionary with a non-African woman is nothing but a play revolutionary.
And do you think that the diaspora should go back to Africa? Like if you're living in America, do you think that that's something that we should be doing, going back to...
Let me quote the words of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who said, I have no intention of taking all you Negroes back to Africa. Some of you are no good in America, and you will likewise be no good in Africa. Does Dr.UMAR want to show up in Brooklyn with Noah's Ark and put all my brothers and sisters in New York in a boat and bring them to Liberia? Do you really think I want to show up in Houston with a big ship and tell all the Negroes to get on the ship? We going home to Ghana? Hell no. We don't need their white girlfriends. We don't need their LGBT agenda. We don't need their footballs and basketballs and video games, weaves and perms. We don't need none of that in Africa.
Sagging pants.
The only African from the diaspora who should be going to Africa is the one who sees himself as an African. It has something to contribute to the liberation of Africa. It must be a strategic, systemic repatriation program. Repatriation is the heart and soul of Africa. One day, I'm going back home. You understand? I can't go yet, because my divination has informed me that I have to first do something for the Africans in America before I go back to Africa. Because if I leave, who they got left? If I leave, who left here? You ain't got no serious Pan-Africanists in this country. I'm numero uno. So I got to do something here, then I go back to Africa. But I'm only taking people who I believe have the mindset and the humility to build with brothers and sisters on the continent, the patience to build with brothers and sisters in Africa. We're not trying to take everybody back to Africa. Africa would be crazy. You want to drop all of Black America's problems in Africa? Hell no. Take those and then who have the revolutionary consciousness.
And before we go to break, I just have one question for you. You had talked about the LGBTQ+. What is your view on that? Because it seemed like you said, oh, don't take them. You know, just focus on the Black people going to...
I believe in African fundamentalism. I believe in the original principles of African society. And one of the original principles of African society is the African family. And the African family is a Black man and a Black woman. That's all I've ever seen studying all traditional African societies. If you can show me ancient African literature, show me something over 5,000 years old that says it's okay for the man to marry the man. Show me something from Africa over 5,000 years old that says it's okay for the woman to be with the woman. Now, let me be clear. I want to be very clear. I love all African people. Gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, you still family. Just because you family doesn't mean I have to accept whatever you choose to do with your life. I'm not going to accept the killer. I'm not going to accept the rapist. I'm not going to accept the pedophile. And I'm not going to accept anyone who is serving as a bad role model for what our children need to be doing. So if you believe that putting same-sex couples in front of little Black girls is a good thing for African people, if you believe putting same-sex couples in front of Black boys is a good thing for African people, I have one question. And it's the same question I ask my LGBT brothers and sisters whenever they bring me on their radio shows to have this respectful conversation. Give me one benefit that accrues to African people as a result of us allowing the free and open practice and propagation of LGBT life. How do we benefit? Let me give you an example. In America, because of the war against Black men, Only 1 out of every 4 black women will ever get married. 1 out of 4. So if you are homosexualizing the men, where do my 2 daughters get a husband? Where does another brother's daughter get a husband? You can't build the black family if you don't have enough men to build it. And if you're going to feed all the black men to homosexuality, who will be left for the black woman? Do you think it's a coincidence that when you look at most of the advertising in America now, it's almost exclusively LGBTQ, interracial, or biracial? Let me say it again. Watch the TV shows, watch the movies, watch the commercials. The couples are interracial couples, biracial couples, or LGBT couples. How often do you see a black man, a black woman, and a black child anymore? You don't, because America wants to program African children throughout the world for same-sex relationships. Why? Because they like gay sex? No. It's about the extermination of the African genotype. That's why Barack Obama, Sellout Barack Obama, went to Africa and threatened African nations that you better legalize homosexuality. You better legalize gay marriage. Because if you don't, we're going to cut your loans off. If you don't, we're going to cut your funding. Oh, yes.
That happened?
Do the research.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Wow.
Do your research, sister. Yes. Obama went to Africa. He threatened the president of Liberia, the president of Tanzania. He threatened Robert Mugabe before he passed away. And you know what Robert Mugabe said? That he was no saint.
Mm-hmm.
I have my issues with him, but I also respect the courage that he exemplified the last decade of his life. Robert Mugabe said Barack Obama wants to come to Africa and make all the black men gay. Where is his husband?
Ooh.